Feeling after the very last dress rehearsal for the Denver Broncos, and we're watching as the team has just marched down into the end zone and taken a lead that I can't see because I'm blocked by lights. What's the score? 22-9. They're going for two to make it 24-9.
I love a good two-point conversion.
DNVR Broncos post-game show, which is actually a mid-game show, which will then later probably turn into a post-game show. RK and Benny here. Zach joining the show in just a minute. Benny, immediately, your biggest takeaway from this game?
My biggest takeaway is that it would be the Courtland Sutton, Nix connection is alive and well. Love what we got a chance to see from those two. I don't recall last year a lot of back shoulder throws from Bo to any receivers. And what we saw in the first couple of drives today was back shoulder throws. We saw a back shoulder Courtland on the left-hand side of the field. Then we saw Courtland in the slot running a seam route and Bo hitting him on a back shoulder. Back shoulders are hard to stop for the defense. So I'd love to see that progression with Bo. I don't think, what was he, 9 for 13 or 10 for 14?
Yep.
So really impressed with Bo in terms of the mechanics and some of the things that he did well. We wanted a little bit more crispness out of everything. We want it to be a little bit more smooth. It took a couple drives to get things going, but that's what happens when you don't have that rhythm week in and week out when it comes to calling plays and playing. So there was a little bit of rust there. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with how they looked. I'm glad they got into the end zone. Courtland 4 catches, 83 yards and a touchdown. So that's my biggest takeaway, is that connection is alive and well.
Yeah, to me it's a little bit twofold here. People were starting to freak out, I think, at the beginning there when it didn't happen, when we didn't get the crispness that we were looking for. And so I said before the game, I promise it's process over results for me. And we kind of got a little bit of everything. I don't even know how to feel about that. But I will say I ended up being happy that it felt like Bo finally shook off the rust. You could tell that he wasn't comfortable. I can't remember what the word you said, nervous.
Yeah.
I think you said he was looking a little nervous, and we talked about how I thought maybe the lack of reps and the knowing going into the game that you don't get a chance to settle in. It's just you got to go out there, you got to be crisp, you got to get off the field. I just didn't think that was conducive to what was happening for Bo. And finally, I think the play that he made when he ducked out of the sack and flipped it off to Tyler Bidet was like, he finally was just like, okay, I'm just playing ball. That's what I'm doing out here. And from there on out, I really liked what I saw from Bo. And remember, this is all part of a ramp up. So I'm going to weigh the end of this performance heavier than the beginning of it, because that's the closest thing to the game. Like, you just needed to get where they got to. That last touchdown throw to Courtland Sutton was as good as you'll see. So he's, back foot, side arm, sling it to the back shoulder, put it exactly where you need to. I ended up being really happy with where the first team offense ended the game, and that's all we really needed.
Yeah, I think you're right. You're spot on with some of those things. Maybe nervous wasn't the right word. I just felt a little tension. I don't think Bo is a nervous football player, but I think there is tension. I think he has a tremendous amount of expectation put on himself. He wants to do really well. He wants to have that progression, and there is no secret. Everybody knows and has high expectations for this team this year. You have a top 5 defense. He has a great rookie year. I don't know, maybe top 10 rookie year of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about C.J. Stroud, Jaden Daniels. Bo's probably in that category somewhere in terms of the rookie year that he had leading a team to the playoffs. So I think there's that amount of tension and expectation. I think he wants to go out there and make plays. I don't want him to try to play perfect, and I think that's what we saw maybe on the first drive is trying to play perfect. I think him and Courtland were on different pages on one of the shallow routes where Bo missed them. But some of the throws that Bo missed against San Francisco, he hit those today. You talk about climbing up in the pocket and hitting Tyler Bidet. That's what he missed R.J. Harvey or J.K. Dobbins on in San Francisco. You talk about the back shoulder throw to Courtland Sutton on the left-hand side of the field. That's the same throw that he had against San Francisco a couple weeks ago. Also, I think there was a little bit of tension in Bo just because he, like you said, he hasn't gotten the reps. He wasn't out there playing last week. Practice is one thing, but now you have game tension and playing in front of a crowd. That's very different. So I like what I saw. I think it's progression over perfection, and you got a couple weeks to get this right. And now Bo will get even more reps during practice, which I'm very happy about. Now that you're going and you're getting ready for the Tennessee Titans, so that would be my biggest takeaway. I'm happy about where we are, and I think we're trending upwards. You don't want to peak right now. We're trending upwards though.
I gotta thank Sean Payton. Because
you and Sean Payton are like the same. You guys are simpatico.
He said coming into this game 8 to 10 plays. And after, I think, 7 plays, things were not looking good. And I was worried that he was just going to say, like, yep, that's all you guys get. Like, there you go. But then there's that part of you in the back that's like, no, he wants these guys to feel the confidence. So I'm thankful for Sean saying, like, no, I'm not going to just let these guys end the preseason feeling like they haven't found any sort of rhythm. And that's what you were really adamant about, not even just that, but even after that they would come back out and try to keep a little rhythm going and not just, go right off the field. So thank you to Sean Payton for making sure that I think Broncos country can rest at night, knowing that this offense has done a little something in the preseason.
Yeah, I think the offense did really well. I don't think we ran the ball really well today, but this is also Sean Payton's dress rehearsal too. He hasn't called plays all preseason, so he was getting into his rhythm as well. So I think there will be some things to correct on tape, as he always says. There's some good, there's some bad, but it's never as bad. I know the first couple drives didn't go as well, but I think we talked about this in the watch along. New Orleans did have their starting defense out there. This was not their 2 defense. They got some good players on their team. So they got some former first-round picks. They got some players who have played for Sean. They know some of this offense. They know some of the schemes. We saw Marvin Mims on the jet sweep, and they were all over it. They understand that. They've seen this offense plenty of times, especially those people on defense. So I'm encouraged. I wanted to see Evan Ingram touch the ball. We did not see him touch the ball at all from Bo
he did touch
all
the ball.
Offseason. Oh, yeah, he did drop. He dropped it. You're right. You were right. You're right.
But yeah, I mean, I agree. It was a start. I joked before in the pregame show, like, I'm ready for the preseason to be over, and now I'm kind of like, wouldn't be the worst thing to have one more just to keep this ball rolling. But they're going to have to take it into week 1. Thankfully, the Broncos have what I would call a very favorable matchup going up against a rookie quarterback at home in week 1 with what's going to probably be an insane crowd.
Yeah.
Really quick, I want to remind everyone about the Supporters Club. You probably saw the little video we played off the top. New thing here at DNVR. You can join the Supporters Club on YouTube for as low as $5 a month. You're going to get a little badge next to your name that says you're a part of the Supporters Club. You're going to get custom emojis that only supporters can use in the chat. Some of you have already done it, and no better time than now to join, because your badge that's next to your name will get upgraded after 1 month, after 2 months, after 3 months, so on and so forth. So if you want to be one of the founding members of the Supporters Club who will have theirs upgraded on the first possible day, you can do that today. Real quick, before we hit a break, Benny.
Yep.
Is there anyone, obviously the stars of the show was Bortland.
Yep.
Bo and Courtland. Is there anyone outside of that you felt like made an interesting case for where they should be on the team, earned more playing time, anything like that today?
Who do I feel like that today? Probably Tyler Bidet. I think the way he started with the kick return, I think that's extremely important. Special teams is extremely important. I don't think we're going to get many touchbacks because you start with the ball at the 35. So you need a strong runner, and he's been a strong runner all preseason. So I don't necessarily know that he'll get carries out of the backfield, but maybe there are some plays, some opportunities for him to get more time. I'd be curious to see what you think about who gets that who gets that jersey between him and Jaleel during the season. If they both make the 53-man roster, who gets that jersey? Because right now, Tyler Burdett looks like more of the special teams player. Jaleel's obviously more explosive out of the backfield, but Tyler Burdett, great vision, has been playing well during the preseason, can be your kick returner. I guess Jaleel can too, but the other three phases of the game, Tyler Burdett is your guy.
Yeah, I just think that Sean really values Jaleel in the red zone, the types of plays that he can make down, not the close red zone, but the high red zone.
Yeah, high red, 25 and in.
Yeah, I think that he's just really valuable in there, and you've seen him kind of get used a lot by Sean there in the last couple of years. So I think it's going to be him, but people like me always undervalue the special teams aspect of this.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't be surprised if what the stuff that you're talking about ends up helping Bidet. But, aside from Devon Vele, usually not playing on game day in the preseason is a good sign for where you stand on the team. And so Jaleel didn't play today. I think that was a big sign for where they view him on this football team.
Yeah, I 1,000% agree. Who stood out to you today?
Lavelle Bailey.
All over the field.
I love Lavelle Bailey so much. I think that he is going to eventually be a starter in this league. Now, this team has Alex Singleton and Dre Greenlaw, which is great, and having him as depth behind those guys who unfortunately have a history of getting banged up is huge. But I think that there's going to come a time where Lavelle Bailey can no longer just be sitting behind people. He's going to be a starter in this league. So I'm really happy for him. I just love the way that he flies around the field.
I feel that way. I should have said this name first, but I feel that way about Jonah Ellis. I mean, literally the MVP of the defense for the preseason. We watched him make play after play, quarterback pressures, chasing the ball down. When you talk about somebody who can continue to emerge as he goes into his second year, Jonah Ellis has played extremely well. Reminds me a little bit in terms of the depth that we had with Avon and a DeMarcus with a Shaq Barrett. And you have somebody who has a motor, who can make plays, who can get to the quarterback. I love the fact that we have that depth. It just makes our defense that much better. You can bring in a fresh body, somebody who already has a motor, a crazy motor, but he's not going to be playing a crazy amount of plays. So a lot of opportunities. Q Robinson also made a play.
Yeah,
I don't know if he necessarily moves himself up in the depth chart, but the strip sack that we saw in the third quarter that we saw just as we were starting the show, huge for him.
Yep. He also made, I think, 2 special teams plays
today.
Yep.
So that's huge for us. And, he's got to be a 4-core special teamer, meaning he's got to play all 4 phases of the game to get a jersey. So love that we saw something out of the young players, the young guys making plays. And also, our boy Pat Bryant always comes up with catches. He had some opportunities today to make some plays. I think he had one where I guess you'd consider it a drop, but the defender got his hands on there. But he continues to impress, plays very smooth, in and out of his cuts, in and out of his breaks. I love to see and continue to see his progression.
My favorite question to ask in the preseason and in the early season, you feel better or worse about the team after the performance today?
I don't feel any different.
Same.
I don't feel any different.
I would say I feel slightly better.
To me, preseason just has it means nothing to me at all. I think when I look at preseason as a former player, I think about getting the reps, getting some game live action, going against a different team, understanding how to game plan, understanding how to beat man coverage as a receiver, or just beat or have one-on-one matchups. I have been on teams here where we've gone undefeated in the preseason and blew people out, and the season didn't go as well. I played in New York where I think we went undefeated in the preseason, 3-0, 3-1, or 4-0 in the preseason, and we weren't a really good team. So the preseason does not mean that much to me. I think you want to see some crispness more crispness out of your ones, which was okay. It's hit or miss. But I trust Sean. And also I know Sean being and playing in his offense and going through a training camp with Sean, that your starters are going to have extremely heavy legs just because of how they practice and how he practices. So, yeah, you want to see things be a little bit better, a little bit more smooth in and out of the huddle. You want to see the drives put together where it's just, throw to throw to throw. But I understand how he practices and how he goes about things, and I trust his judgment on things. And I think Sean's, he's top 5 coach in the league. So I'm going to lean on him. And I think the Broncos are going to win a lot of games this year.
All right, a little touchdown for the Saints there against the 3 defense. Before we go any further, and we're going to actually bring Zac in here to swap out for me, I want to give a shout-out to our friends over at Taco Bell. Have you heard about the Buffs Box?
I have not.
Buffs Box at Taco Bell, the best deal in food. Check this out. You're getting a cheesy gordita crunch, a beefy 5-layer burrito, a Doritos Loco taco, a pack of cinnamon twists, and a large fountain drink for $7. $7, people.
Need that.
And you get the cool Buffs box that it comes in, and a collectible cup featuring Jordan Seaton, Julian Lewis, Draylon Miller, and Quentin Gibson. So go check it out. I've already had 2, actually, and it just hits. They just hit. I gotta give it up for Taco Bell. You can get them at participating Front Range locations. Pick up your Buffs box today at your nearest Taco Bell. And also, shout out to our friends over at Coors Light. You guys saw earlier on the show, I lost the bet. I had to buy the boys drinks. What did I get? Of course, I got a Coors Light. Because it's time to chill. It's time to chill. It's football season. We've got a college football game here coming down, I guess, kind of to the wire. We've got one more little week before we get NFL going, or 2 more weeks till we get NFL going, 1 more week till college football's in full swing. It's Coors Light time, baby. It's Coors Light season, so hit up our friends over at Coors Light, and you can actually have it delivered straight to your door by going to CoorsLight.com/DNVR. Choose Coors Light when you're choosing times to chill. All right, Benny, what else do you want to talk about? Take it away here for a second while we swap out.
What do I want to talk about? I want to talk about, I don't know, I think it's the end of preseason. These guys are playing their hearts out. It's tough. But yeah, this is the last job interview that these guys are going to have this year, and they're trying to put themselves in a position to win and be successful. We're seeing it right now with Audric Estime, where they're giving him a ton of carries to see if he can find a home or if he can become now a trade piece. So that's what the last half of preseason is all about. So we'll see what continues to happen. Broncos are going to be making some moves over the next couple of days. We'll see I don't know. Do you have any interesting moves that we should trade for? Anything where you feel like we should make a move, or some claims that we should make?
Benny, I think the Broncos just are thrilled with the way this game is playing out. Sean Payton was not thrilled the first 7 minutes of the game. You could see he was pissed, and it was kind of in one way, a punishment, is it fair to say, to make the offense go out there for a 3rd series? You're shaking your head no, but I think he was like, no, this is unacceptable. You guys got to go out there until we get a touchdown, and then we're able to see the touchdown. Then Sean's happy. I'm very relieved that he let those guys go out there for a 3rd time so that they could get a touchdown, because, Benny, it wouldn't have been panic mode because it's the preseason. But we would have had a bad taste in our mouth, and it wouldn't have felt good if Sean would have pulled the starters after the 2nd drive or even after the 1st drive, and we were left with what we saw, because it was not good. And it's not just like that the Saints were stepping up and stopping the Broncos. The Broncos are stopping themselves. Bad passes, penalties, the offensive line wasn't getting a push against the run game. And so I'm really happy to see that final drive. And then it's like, okay, Bo's ready to go, Courtland's ready to go, the Broncos are ready to go. And then Sean said, yep, you guys are done now.
I don't think it was necessarily a punishment. I think Sean wants them to do well and look well. Or not look well, but he wants them to look good. So that's really important. It wasn't just the players. It was also for him. He's calling these plays. He put this roster together, so he wants to see it, and he wants the players to feel confidence. And confidence is one of the most important things. Everybody out there is very talented. Everybody out on that field right now, especially the ones, can play football and play football at an extremely high level. And I think Sean really wanted to see that. I think he wanted to see them put together a good drive. I think he wanted it for Bo. I think he wanted Bo to have some completions. And we saw Bo do that. We saw him complete some passes to Courtland Sutton. We saw him make a great play climbing up in the pocket and throwing the ball to Tyler Bidet. So I think it's about the little things. And that's what happened. I thought the offensive line did a pretty good job. You did point something out that we haven't talked about yet, which is the penalties. And I know Sean hates penalties, and penalties are drive killers. When you have penalties, holding penalties, pre-snap penalties, those kill drives. So that has to be cleaned up in the next 14 days, 15 days before you get to week 1, because penalties can kill you. I love the fact that Bo doesn't take sacks. That's something to be extremely excited about. But the penalties is something that has to be cleaned up. We cannot have pre-snap penalties. We cannot have holding penalties and be in 1st and 20 and 3rd and long. We were in too many 3rd and longs, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 8. I think Sean will talk about that in the post-game press conference. So.
And 100% Benny. Sorry, I was just watching Caleb Lohner get a nice catch and run there. But one thing with the penalties, and one of the things that makes Sean Payton such a player's coach isn't that he gives players everything they want. It's because he's extremely fair with them. And I think the penalties is one way that really shines through. Sean talks all the time about how, of course you don't want any penalties, but there are going to be some in-play penalties that just happen in the game of football. There's going to be a holding penalty occasionally. There's going to be a pass interference penalty occasionally. Obviously, Sean wants to limit those, but he's realistic that, okay, I'm not gonna cut a guy because he had a holding penalty when he was just trying to do his job and he was good the rest. But the ones that are inexcusable and the ones that he does not allow, doesn't want to allow, are those pre-snap ones. And last week we saw a lot of them, way too many of them, drive killers. I think we saw a couple in a row. And in the back of my head, it's like, okay, well, these are the backups in. So let's hope that we don't see it with the starters. Well, we see the starters go in there, and they do that. The very first drive, the Broncos go backward before they have to punt because of a penalty in there. And you can't have it, like you said. And so that's something that now we saw it with the starters. It's not concerning, but if you do that against the Chiefs, that is the difference between winning and losing. You might be able to get away with it against the Titans and the Colts to an extent, but once the Chargers come into town, or once you go to Los Angeles in week 3 and the Bengals are here in week 4, those have to be out of the way.
100%. Got to be out of the way. Zach, we'd love to hear about your biggest takeaway from today's final preseason game.
I am so relieved that the Broncos went out and had that third drive on offense, because it wouldn't have felt good. Love the Bo Nix-tion that we had with Courtland Sutton and Bo Nix. Benny, get ready for this. Courtland Sutton, after the first 16 minutes of play when he was pulled, he was on pace for 16 catches, 320 receiving yards, and 4 touchdowns, and it felt like he did it quietly. And so my biggest takeaway from this was the resilience and bounce back that the first team offense had, because it was about as bad as it could be without a turnover the first drive. Second drive, you saw a little bit of light, but the third drive was when it all came together.
Can I pause you right here?
Yeah.
Remember my bold prediction about Courtland Sutton's stats?
1,500 yards?
1,500 yards. Now, he had a drop. But when you have an Evan Ingram on this team now, you have an R.J. Harvey or a J.K. Dobbins, Courtland is going to get more one-on-ones than usual. So, How do you feel about the prediction now?
Well, after today, it looks pretty good, Benny. Looks pretty good. I mean, when you have 300 yards in one game, that's going to get you to 15 pretty quickly. But, I mean, you're 100% right. With Evan, it's going to take a lot of coverage away from Court, and it's going to help him a lot, especially because I think Evan Ingram will have 100 yards in week 1. And then I think that'll make the Colts maybe overcorrect to him a little too much. I guess if a guy has 100 yards, you can't overcorrect too much because you want to slow him down. But it'll draw a lot of attention away from Court. And then he might go for 100 yards in week 2. And Benny, it would be so refreshing to see a couple of 100-yard receivers in the first few weeks, because we saw Courtland do it a little bit last year, but for 10 years, we've gone way too long without having like just consistent 100-yard games from receivers.
Who was the last consistent 100-yard receiver for the Broncos? Was it Demaryius?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Before Court.
Yeah.
Yep. And, I mean, there was that streak where the Broncos didn't have a 100-yard receiver in a game or a 100-yard rusher in like 2 seasons, which is just insane.
That's insane.
And it just shows that the playmakers weren't there.
Yeah.
Now you have them, because I think Evan's capable of that. I think Court's capable of that. I hope that J.K. Dobbins and R.J. Harvey are capable of that. They just might not do it because they might both get 80 yards instead of one guy. I still think R.J. is going to get, or J.K. is going to get one in the first couple of weeks this year. And then Troy Franklin can go for 100 yards. We saw Marvin Mims do it back-to-back games to end the season. So that's just going to help Bo Nix out so much. And Sean Payton's play calling is going to be designed to, okay, this is a Troy week this week. This is a Marvin week this week. This is a Pat Bryant week this week. And I do think the consistents are going to be, it's always an Evan Ingram week. It's always a Courtland Sutton week.
What do you want? What do you wish could have been changed, or what needs correction besides the penalties? What needs correction from today?
I'm a little worried about the run game.
Yeah.
And Benny, you're actually a great person to ask about this, because the Broncos certainly are changing things up with the run game. They're adding more outside zone. How complicated is that to add that in one off season?
I don't know how complicated it is to add it in the offseason. It's got to be. I think it's about timing, and I think it's about the landmarks. And they're trying to get these guys to go north and south, but I think it's the landmarks. I think it's going to take some time. I think you're going against live bullets, meaning when I say that, you're now going against people who are tackling. It's real when it comes to the contact and the physicalness of an actual game. So I think it might take a few weeks to get that going. We saw some positive runs last week from R.J. Harvey, but we haven't seen the explosiveness that we want to see so far. Am I worried? No, because I think we have one of the top 5 offensive lines in the league. But I think it needs to, it's got to get better and better in a hurry. I think we talked about it offline with Tennessee and their front 7 and how they play the game and how fast they are to the ball. So something that needs to be quickly fixed, because we need some explosive plays. And that's also going to help Bo. Obviously we wanted to see Bo throw the ball today, but we want a balanced attack when we're going against defenses. We want to be able to throw them off with the play action, and we got to have a great running game to do that. So
and Benny, what I just don't understand is last year all of the metrics said that the Broncos offensive line was fantastic at run blocking. Clearly the Broncos showed us with their actions that the reason the run game wasn't great was because of the running backs. That's why they went and got 2 new running backs to start. And then the third running back is going to see the field 4% of the time, according to what Sean Payton's history tells us. So essentially it's a whole new running back room for the Broncos this year. So the fingers pointed at the running backs. And so it's like, okay, in preseason, when we've seen the run game, there haven't been, from the starters, there haven't been very many holes there. So it's actually like,
we don't know that yet. We got to look at the coach's tape.
Well, you're right. You're right.
Let's look at the coach's tape, because we can't see it from the side.
On initial look, though, it hasn't looked like the running backs are the ones missing on these opportunities. Again, with the starters, we'll talk about the backups in a second. And I'm a little concerned, and I don't think it's going to look much better in week 1, because we talked about how Tennessee's front 7 is the best part of their team. And you just hope that it picks up steam, or else at some point you just have to abandon the new stuff that you're doing and just do what works. So that's my only other concern from today. But again, I shouldn't be concerned, because I know this offensive line is good, but they're just learning something new. So it might take time, and that's just what I need to remind myself and fans out there, is just the run game might not look good, but I think that midway through the season it will, and that's when you really need it going, is when the playoffs come around. But when the Broncos starters were out there, R.J. Harvey, 3 carries for 4 yards. 1.3 yards per carry. You had Tyler Bidet get a couple of carries in there. He went 4 carries for 14 yards. And then when the backups were in, got to give credit where credit is due.
Yeah, they made the plays.
Audric Estime. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be nice to Audric right now.
No, you're not.
He looked good. He ran really, really hard. And the offensive line, it also looked like there were more holes for him.
What team does he play for next?
How about the Saints?
You think he goes to the Saints?
I mean, there's already a little pipeline there with Vele going there.
49ers or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. 49ers are trying to pick up people right now. I want to dive into that with you, Benny. What did Audric do enough today to earn a roster spot? Could he have done enough today to earn a roster spot? Let's dive into that conversation, maybe some risers, some fallers in this preseason game. But before we do that, I got to give a shout out to our friends over at Bet365, where if you got in on the Broncos, you're feeling good over at Bet365. We got 15 days until the real deal. And Benny, over at Bet365, the Broncos are the biggest week 1 favorites in the NFL. Wow. That's where you want your team to be entering a season, as the number 1 favorite to beat a team in week 1, and that's why the Broncos are going to beat them. And right now, I believe it's a 7-8 point spread. Broncos are covering that. I feel comfortable about that. And not only can you get in on every single game and player props, but you can get on season-long bets right now over at Bet365. Use that code DNVR365, and you can get $150 in bonus bets when you place a $5 bet after depositing $10 with using that code DNVR365. Actually, it's up to $200 in bonus bets right now, so they just threw in another $50 for you, and you can use that on anything. So make sure to go to the App Store, download the Bet365 app, and use that code DNVR365 when you sign up. Bonus bets will be placed on spread, totals, player props, futures, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 20 and older, physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. And again, that is code DNVR365. And I want to give a shout out to our friends over at Cake Mortgage, where this one is for you Denver property investors. If you own investment property, thinking about buying one, you got to check out our friends over at Cake Mortgage, where they make it easy. You don't need tax returns. You don't need W-2s. There's no complicated paperwork. If you're a first-time home buyer, first-time investor, and your property's rent doesn't cover the mortgage payment, no problem. They've got you over at Cake. Cake specializes in loans for investors just like you. So if you've been told no by traditional lenders, give Cake a call over at 888-EAT-CAKE. That's 888-EAT-CAKE. And one more time, 888-EAT-CAKE to get a bigger slice of the American dream. Call now or visit cakehome.com to read our 5-star reviews and get started. Cake Mortgage Company, equal housing lender, MLS number 1734623, licensed in Colorado by the Division of Real Estate. Terms and conditions apply. That is cakehome.com, and check them out over at 888-EAT-CAKE. And one more time, I want to give a shout out to everyone today that has become a member of the Supporters Club. It's a new thing that we're doing with YouTube. So if you watch this show on YouTube and you wanna support us, I mean, it's in the name right there, you can become a member. Want to give a big shout out to David Hannett, who became a member of the Supporters Club, and Robert Potts. We've had a lot of people join us today. Shout out to you all for supporting us. And the cool thing about this, there's a little benefit for you as well. Not only do you get to support us, but you get a little badge by your name that shows up every single time you comment, and these badges upgrade every week, and then after that, months and years, and it upgrades on your anniversary of joining us. And so if you join today, you're going to be the first people to upgrade every single time. So that's cool. You also get cool special emojis that only you're able to use. Smash that LFB, because Benny, Bo was looking good today.
Yes, he was.
So let's hop into...
Also, real quick, Robert Potts, first Hall of Fame member in the history of DNVR.
First Hall of Fame member, Robert Potts. Let's go. Yeah, there's two different tiers you can do. The first one, and then there's a Hall of Fame level, and that one is $14.99 a month. That really helps us. And Robert, that Hall of Fame level gets you exclusive video every single week. So you can now go on YouTube and watch that exclusive video. Robert, you're the first one with that behind-the-scenes access. A Hall of Famer. Okay, Benny, speaking of Hall of Famers, Audric Estime, who's he going to go in the Hall of Fame with?
Who is he going to go in the Hall of Fame with? Nobody, my man. But I'd be curious to see, what teams actually need a power and a bruiser back. I don't think he makes this team. I think he's a great kid. I think he's played really well in this second half. But our backfield is there's just too much talent right there. You got some explosive players. You got players who have that power game to them. And I think, Sean gave him his chances. And if you're not listening in terms of how Sean wanted you to be, which is the Jerome Bettis type, 3 yards in the cloud of dust type of back, we just got to find somebody different. And I think when you bring in 2 running backs, that becomes tough. Well, maybe, I don't know. I see him Blake Watson limp off the field. So that doesn't mean Audric is going to make the team, but he could be now your practice squad back. Blake Watson, he's been explosive throughout this entire preseason, has been making plays, but you can't make the club in the tub. You got to be able to be on the field. Your best ability is your availability. So
keep rattling them off. I like these.
Yes, exactly. So we'll see what happens with Audric. This is a tough league. Everybody's good. This is the 1% of the 1%. So, you can go find great running backs off the street. And right now, we'll see how Audric finishes this up. But he can create a tremendous amount of value for himself in these next 7 minutes, like he has been doing the third quarter, finish off the game the right way, because he's going to get this ball the rest of the game.
And look at him go. He's going to only continue to help his stat sheet because he's going up against now we're in territory at the end of a game when he's getting carries. These guys, a decent number of these guys on both sides of the ball aren't going to make a team right now when
he
you're
might
playing.
Be one of them.
Exactly. You're right. And Benny, I agree with you. Even though he had a good game today, this felt like an Albert O type of game.
Yeah.
Like Sean gave him the opportunity to score a touchdown. He did that, and credit to him, but drive up that value a little bit. Do you think the Broncos will be able to trade him? Because
Nope.
You're right. He might get a role on the Broncos practice squad.
It's hard to trade a running back.
Yeah.
It's hard to trade a running back who has not had a great season. You just saw the Commanders trade Brian Robinson to the 49ers, but he's been a really good player. He ate 800 yards. He's been a starter in this league. Audric has not been a starter in this league. He doesn't have enough film and enough stock built up, equity built up to be traded. So if he was a home run hitter, yeah, but I think we're thinking because Vele just got traded for a 4th-round pick, but Vele as a rookie, 43 catches. There's some real value there. He's a taller receiver. You have more than one receiver on the field at a time. Running back, there's only one on the field. And I don't know Audric's special teams value.
Yeah.
And how do they see him as a special teams player? So, yeah, it's tough.
Well, and Benny, you just mentioned special teams. A riser today, another one, Tyler Bidet. I mean, how did he look? Returning a kickoff, brought it back almost to the 50, and that helped the Broncos. The Broncos offense on that second drive only needed to go 20 yards to get into field goal range, and that's what they did. Like, it's not like they drove all the way down to the 5. No, that second drive still wasn't great from the Broncos offense, but it was credit to Tyler Bidet to get them in that position, and I think he makes the team. Straight up makes the team. Some people asked in the Twitter chat about Jaleel, and Jaleel had a baby girl this past week, so he missed practice on Wednesday and I believe Thursday as well. So congratulations to Jaleel.
To him.
And that probably played into why he didn't play today, but it also could have been they just wanted to hold him back because they know what Jaleel is, just like we've seen with
Or maybe
J.K.
he's a trade candidate.
I mean, how can you not think that after Vele?
Yeah.
Vele didn't play last week, and then they traded him. So, yes, that's the question. Did they hold him out? 1, because he had a baby. 2, because he's a trade candidate. Or 3, because they just know what he is and don't need to see anything else.
I think it's because he had the baby and missed 2 days of practice. And shout out to him and his family and the birth of his baby girl. I would say I think Sean is a big fan of his. I think Sean really can scheme him up, get him open, and find ways for him to make plays. So I'm going to say that it's not because he is a trade candidate. I think it's because, he missed a couple days of practice, and you just don't want to throw anybody out there. I was just looking at the schedule as 9 News just threw it up there. I am so excited about the season. I'm excited to work with you guys for this, work with you guys during the season. I'm glad football is back. This is a really exciting time. Now it really matters. Like, this is preseason as a player for me, as a former player. I love to see these guys get opportunities in the second half because that's where I made the team during my career. But as a fan now of football, I am ready to get to the season where it all counts. It is it's an exciting time right now. And I think one of the positives that we haven't talked about is that getting out of the preseason pretty healthy.
Yeah, it's a great point. We did see Blake Watson go down, walk off slowly. We hope he's going to be okay, but you're 100% right. And one of the things that I wanted to see today was Jahdae Barron play, because on Thursday he did not practice due to a soft tissue injury, and those can be so tricky. When I hear soft tissue, I get worried, especially with the season approaching. Jahdae was out there today. I am not concerned anymore because he played. So that was a really, really good thing to see. And you're right, the health of this team. You got your entire starting offensive line. You have all your weapons. Evan Ingram's healthy. You got your quarterback, running back. Everything's good on the offensive side. And then same with the defensive side, too. We did not get to see Dre Greenlaw play, but I think that was just Sean holding Dre Greenlaw back from Dre Greenlaw, because when Dre Greenlaw plays, he goes 100%. It would have been fun to see him make his Broncos debut today, but I'm okay waiting that for it to happen until week 1. So Dre Greenlaw, despite not playing, he will be okay this to start week 1.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Dre Greenlaw out there. I think this is not concerning for me. This is not concerning for me, but the defense didn't have a lot of energy throughout the preseason. It's
true.
almost like they knew they were good. They didn't have that type of energy. They weren't talking any shit out there.
Yeah.
I'm excited for Greenlaw to bring that mentality to every snap. I hope he stays healthy throughout the entire season, but I think that's what he's going to bring. You know what? Talanoa Hufunga's been all over the field. He was all over the field
Completely
early
agree.
in this game. I love to see that. I love to see him making plays in the preseason. Pat Surtain.
Yep.
I am a little worried about our run defense. There were some gaping holes in the first couple drives against our starting defense, and I think that's one of the things that got us beat handily by the Buffalo Bills. So I think that has to change. Are we sound up front? Are we stout up front to stop the run game? Because we have to play against some really explosive backs this year.
Yeah, 100%. And especially when week 2 comes around, the Colts, if they could run the ball 95% of the time, just hand it to Jonathan Taylor, they would love to do that. And
they're going to have to.
And Daniel Jones can run too.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not concerned about Daniel Jones beating Pat Surtain and Riley Moss and Talanoa Hufanga, but if Jonathan Cooper's running for 6.7 yards per carry, Daniel Jones can pull one of those and then take off too, because the Broncos will have so much attention on him. So I'm not too concerned about the Titans on offense.
You should be.
At all. I'm not. I'm not. No, the Broncos.
Zach, this is the NFL, bro.
Benny, the Broncos are going to pick off Cam Ward. They're going to sack him. Okay, between sacks and interceptions.
You're a little too hype right now.
I
about
would
this.
set that number. I'd set that number at 6.5 combined. Sacks and picks for Cam Ward in week 1.
You know,
6.5.
Cam Ward can run too.
Yeah.
And he's got some good weapons too.
Yeah. But the Broncos.
Ridley, Van Jefferson,
Yep.
and that kid from Stanford.
Give me the Broncos secondary all day, not even close, especially with Cam Ward.
No, I agree with that 100%. I agree with taking the Broncos secondary over the Titans receivers, and we'll break some of this stuff down as we get closer to game week. But they got some real players over there, and depending on matchups, I would take Calvin Ridley over Riley Moss. He can play.
He can.
Calvin Ridley
He
is
can.
a savage.
He can.
Van
Exact
Jefferson
same
can
contract
play.
as Courtland Sutton, which shows you how they value him.
He got that contract 2 years ago. That's different.
That's true. Yep.
Money is different. So I'm not going to say that Cam Ward, this is not going to be a blowout. This is the NFL at the end of the day. Yes, it might be his first start. Yes, he might turn the ball over a little bit. But Cam Ward has the ability to run and escape. And he's a leader, and, he's not afraid to go out there and make plays. I'm not going to say he's going to go out there and just kill our defense. And, we'll get home and sack him, but he's got some good coaching over there. Brian Callahan as the head coach, who was here as the quarterback's coach when Peyton was here. I got a tremendous amount of respect for Callie. Callie can call plays, and he knows football really well. And don't be surprised if they try to pull out some tricks and stops to keep our defense or keep our offense off the field, steal possessions.
Yeah, and Benny, we have people in the Toyota chat. Can you scroll up just a tiny bit? You hear? It is Emotional Support Viking who says, I really hate when you do this, Zach. Every team can play. Of course, he's talking about me overlooking some teams right there. And let me know. How do you guys...
get on, Zach, everybody.
How do you guys feel in week one about the week one matchup? Because I feel great about week one. I'm not saying Broncos are going to go 17-0 and beat every team, but come on.
Cincinnati felt great about week one last year when they played New England and they got beat because they overlooked them.
Yeah, Cincinnati always does that. It's super weird as the Broncos get a touchdown. They always start off really slow. Sean Payton has talked about, Kyries Rowan making a fantastic catch there to get the Broncos a first down. He is someone that has absolutely locked down a spot on the Broncos practice squad.
You think so?
Oh, 100%.
How many practice squad receivers do they keep? So they got Rowan.
Courtney Jackson.
Courtney Jackson.
Lock. Yep. He absolutely should. He made a good catch on this
Joaquin
drive,
Davis.
too.
No Joaquin Davis.
Maybe. And then that's probably it. Those three.
3 receivers on your practice squad.
So it's a 16, 17-man practice squad. You can do the 17.
I wish I'd still be playing if there was that.
Yes. I know, because that's what's kind of crazy is cut day. It is a brutal day, and I feel so bad for every player that gets cut. But about half of those guys are brought back on the practice squad, which makes it feel good. So it's really a 90-man cut down to 70.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate that 16 or 17 guys have to have a terrible 24 hours before getting the call that they're on the practice squad.
It's a long 24 hours.
Oh, I can't even imagine. And Benny, actually, before we end the show, I want to ask you what these next 3 days are like for people. But before we do that, I want to get to a little stock report from the Broncos. Who stocks up, who stocks down? We've talked about some guys specifically, but I want to throw out some other names that stuck out to me. And before we do that, I got to give a shout out to our friends over at Ent Credit Union. We are all Broncos fans. You might as well bank like a Bronco and get yourself a Broncos debit card. You can get one with Bo Nix on it, and not just Bo Nix on it. It's Bo Nix throwing like across the body pass with his signature on it in the crisp white uniform. It's on the screen right there. If you want to get that, you got to become an Ent Credit Union member. And not only do you get that card, you get 10% off food and gear on game days at Empower Field at Mile High when you use the card. And you get the chance to win tickets to a Broncos home game by swiping your card with the Broncos debit checking card. Every 10 swipes enters you for another chance to win. So if you're ready to bank like a Bronco, go to ent.com/DNVR. That's ent.com/DNVR and sign up for Broncos checking today. Ent Credit Union is assured by NCUA. Membership required. APY account requires associated Ent Broncos debit card. And then I also got to give a shout out to our friends over at Toyota. If you want to go places, you got to check out our friends over at Toyota, because they're going to take you wherever you need to go, whether it's camping in the mountains, whether it's surfing at the beach, whether it's driving around the city. Toyota has got you covered, because they have 17 models with available all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive, including the Epic 4Runner. They've got the Tacoma. They've got the Land Cruiser, which is now my personal favorite car, is that iconic Land Cruiser. They brought it back. Toyota offers more low and zero-emission vehicles combined than any other automaker to give customers numerous choices to reduce their carbon footprint. So if you want to get yourself a Toyota, visit a local Front Range Toyota store at a location near you. AutoNation Toyota Arapahoe and Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota, the official automotive partner of the NFL and the official vehicle of DNVR. Let's go places. And we're going to go out to the Toyota chat in just a second, but just want to remind everyone to become a supporters club member with us. Join that Hall of Fame tier as well to get that extra behind the scenes video every single week. And when you become a member, make sure to drop in the Toyota chat and say hello to us. So if you're in the Toyota chat, or if you're watching this show later, leave a comment and let us know who stood out to you the most, whose stock rose the most, whose stock fell the most in this game. And Benny, I want to go through and give credit to where credit's due to some of these guys. Tyler Bidet, we talked about him. I think he not locked down a spot, but made a really good case to be the fourth running back, because I do think it'll be Jaleel as the third, and I think Tyler Bidet made a good case for him to be the fourth guy. Audric Estime, credit where credit's due. I think he did a good job, but I think what needs to happen is I think he needs to go to a different team. And if it's on a practice squad, a different team, I just think a fresh start is needed for both sides. So he made a good case for himself to be on a practice squad somewhere else. Pat Bryant, man. He continues to come up with it. And the one we saw today was a heads-up play. Sam Ehlinger's running, and Pat Bryant makes a nice adjustment that makes a catch on the move. Almost a touchdown, but I just continue to like what I see from him. And then Q Robinson. I know you guys talked about him in the first segment. Did you hear what Nick Bonito said about Q at the end of this week? I asked Nick what he's seen from the rookies, same room, and Nick lit up. And Nick doesn't really light up on the podium. He's really good at not saying much. Yeah. Sean probably loves when he's on the podium because he's like, Nick's not going to say anything. Yeah. And he said when he gets going, he's unstoppable. He's a freight train when he gets going. And essentially what he said was he just needs to learn the playbook and understand what the offenses are doing. And when he knows exactly what to do, he's unstoppable. He can be a star in this league, but clearly he needs a little bit of time to develop. He only played a star. A guy that went to Alabama.
What's like Von Miller? That's a star.
That's a superstar. Von's a superstar. I'm not going to go that.
Okay, so star. So Nick Bonito.
10-sack guy.
Oh.
Yep. A Jonathan Cooper, Nick Bonito.
Okay.
He can be.
Okay.
He's a 5-star recruit coming out of high school. Went to Alabama. Sat behind Will Anderson. That's a big reason why he didn't play until his senior season, is because Alabama always has big-time edge rushers. Only played 300 snaps his senior year because he got hurt midway through the season and had to miss the rest. So his one season that he was able to play, given that opportunity, he got hurt. Falls to the Broncos in the 5th round because of only 300 snaps. But, man, he is so talented. He's the biggest pass rusher the Broncos have at the edge spot. When you see him, you're like, man, he is a monster. And then in preseason, he's been destroying tackles in training camp consistently, day in and day out. I think he can be a star. Now it's just about we're probably not going to see it much this year because Broncos have Nick Bonito, Jonathan Cooper, Jonah Ellis, Dondre Tillman. They've got so much depth there, but he's for sure making this roster. And I just love the strip sack that we saw. We saw him explode off the edge, get around the tackle, get the strip sack. I'd love to see it.
I mean, star, I don't know.
That's fair.
Great player, good player, and when I mean good player, I'm talking about somebody who could play the 4 core special teams and be a role player. When I think about star, I'm thinking, your Nick Bonitos, your Von Millers, your Shaq. Shaq Barrett was a star.
Yep, no, without a doubt.
He's not Shaq became
he's
a Pro
superstar.
Bowler.
Yeah.
No. Superstar is Hall of Fame. You're going to Hall of Fame. Like, that's a superstar.
Shaq led the league in sacks one year. That's superstar.
No.
That's superstar stuff.
That's not superstar. Because superstars do it every year. TJ Watt's a superstar.
Yeah.
Myles Garrett's a superstar. We're not gonna that conversation.
Shaq Barrett was a superstar for 1 year.
You're not a superstar. You're a star. But Q Robinson, I love what I saw. I love the strip sack. I love the fact that I would love to just see him on 3rd down. Extreme passing situations. Remember what the New York Giants used to have, that NASCAR package where they would put out all pass rushers.
Yep.
I would love to see him in situations like that because you said he is a bigger defensive end. How do we put him in the interior along with Zach Allen, along with Nick Bonito, Jonathan Cooper, and then he has a NASCAR package where he is just, pins his ears back and goes straight after the quarterback. I think there's a tremendous opportunity for him to do that. So I love what he saw. I loved all your stock ups and people who played where. Tyler Burdett, I think he played extremely well and gets a chance to be hopefully on the roster, maybe get a jersey. We'll see about that. But yeah.
One more guy that I want to throw in the stock up, Chris Abrams-Drain.
Benny, it
feels like anytime he's on the field, he's making plays. And what's so encouraging about that is he's your 5th corner. I swear, Jaquan, if he ends up being the Broncos' 4th corner, and that will happen at some point in the season, whether it's week 1, whether it's week 8, come on, you just use a 1st-round pick on Jahdae Barron. He's going to be your nickel. He's going to be your 3rd corner at some point this year. The Broncos are going to have the best 3rd corner in the NFL if Jahdae continues to develop.
Whoa.
They're going to, without a doubt, have the best 4th corner in the NFL with Jaquan. And then they're going to have the best 5th corner in the NFL with Chris Abrams-Drain. And it's like, man, what a spoil of riches. Trade one of them. No, because we
we need all the depth.
Yeah, we can't. You can get rid of Vele. Maybe you won't. Maybe it will come back to bite you. But you can get rid of depth here and there. You don't want to deplete your depth for 4th round picks and 5th round picks and 6th round picks. Chris Abrams-Drain though, if let's say I'm touching wood, if you need to, you're not going to have to turn to Levi Wallace and have a Jerry Jeudy game against you where a guy goes for 200 yards when you get that matchup. Chris Abrams-Drain can hold his own in the NFL. So I love the depth there. Chris Abrams-Drain is really, really good. We have someone in the Twitter chat, Flacco. I don't think it's Joe, but if it is Joe Flacco, shout out. Says Chris Abrams-Drain is better than Riley Moss. I don't think so. I think people are sleeping on Riley Moss. Riley Moss is, I think he's going to have a true breakout season this year. He was having that last year until he got hurt, and that kind of stopped his full-time ability to break out.
For him this year?
Prove that he is a number 1 corner in the NFL.
4 picks, 5 picks.
That would be incredible. That would be.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
you're talking about breakout year. Prove that he's a number 1 corner. Proving that you're a number 1 corner, I mean, you got to have interceptions.
And you're going to be given opportunities.
Plenty of opportunity.
With playing across Pat Surtain. Yeah, I'll go 5. 5 plus.
Picks?
I'll go 7.
What?
7 picks. Breakout.
I mean, that's going to be like top 5 in the league.
Yes, 100%. He's gonna lead the Broncos in picks.
You love this team.
I love this team, man. I love this team. Probably no surprise to anyone.
Don't listen to Flacco's takes too much. They've been kind of all over the place in the chat.
What?
Like, shout out Flacco, but their takes on the chat have been all over the place.
Oh, dang. Maybe Flacco, if you've been mean in there, I should.
No, he hasn't been mean. Like, his takes are just everywhere.
Oh, yeah. His takes are everywhere. He's saying trade Riley, like Vele. No. He's going to have 7 picks. Maybe even 8 picks. I don't know. Should I go 9?
No,
yeah. I won't go.
He will have plenty of opportunity, though. I mean, we're going to be playing against top receivers. I mean, he'll have Calvin Ridley maybe or Tyler Lockett in the first week. Yo, they got a great receiving core over there. I know you think it's going to be easy, but their receiver core is legit.
You are right.
And then they play the Colts. You got Pittman. I don't know who else they got a receiver, so I'm not really worried about that one. They got Tyler Warren, though, right?
Yep.
So that's a tough matchup.
Dre Greenlaw, Hufanga. And that's it. Broncos officially wrap up the preseason undefeated. How important is that to Sean? Or not important?
I think it's important for the wins to be there, but I think it's more important for just all of the small things, the game operations, the play calling, the getting the offense off to a fast start, making sure people are lined up in the right position. I think he's going to be really pissed at the preseason when it comes to the penalties and the pre-snap penalties. Sean hates pre-snap penalties. But overall, I think, I give the Broncos a B+ in the preseason. I think you showed an incredible amount of depth. I think you're really excited about that. I think you're excited about your backup quarterback and that you feel really comfortable there. I think you're excited about your rookie class and the plays that they made, especially Pat Bryant and Jade, just playing well. Q Robinson playing well. I think you're also excited about and happy with your free agent signings. And you're also, most importantly, excited that you got out of preseason with not injury-free, but not a crazy amount of injuries.
100%. That is the most important thing. And I remember when Nathaniel Hackett was here and he sold the team and the fans on, we're not playing any of our starters because I don't want him to get injured. And I'm like, okay, I buy that. But you do want guys to get some reps in and get going a little bit. So the ideal way to handle preseason, to have guys play and have them be healthy, and that's exactly what Sean's been able to do.
What a disaster with Hackett. I mean, it's easy to come here and say that when you have, I guess Russell Wilson was here, and, Aaron Rodgers doesn't play in the preseason, but it's Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, yeah. By the way, overrated Aaron Rodgers.
Overrated what?
Overrated player. Person, everything.
I don't care about him personally, but when he puts on that helmet, have you ever seen him play in person?
Yes, I saw him not score a touchdown against the Broncos last year.
coming off an Achilles at 40 years old. Aaron Rodgers is probably the best quarterback that I saw play in person. He's on the other sideline and watching him play.
Better than Peyton?
I never played against Peyton.
Oh, played against. Okay.
But yeah, Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback I saw. When I was in New Orleans, we played the Packers on Monday night. I think he threw for 357 on us. Like, man, I mean, just easy, like all over the field. So he's the best. I mean,
say it with
I
me,
played
Benny.
against Tom.
Overrated.
Never. He got 4 MVPs. 4.
Yeah. Shout out to Donald who says, Benny, Zach, you guys are the best. Love watching the game with you.
Shout out to Donald.
Yes, Donald. Shout out. Okay, Benny, I got to ask you. Jarrett Stidham didn't play. What do you make of that? Sam Ehlinger comes in after Bo.
I don't make anything of it. I think you don't need to see anything out of Stiddy. I think he played really well. He's the MVP of the entire NFL preseason. He was super efficient. He's mastered this offense. He understands everything. He knows his role on this team. He's a leader. I think Sean's very comfortable with him, his operations, and who he is. He did everything he needed to do this preseason. You want to get Sam some reps. Maybe he finds himself on another team, but Sam's going to be your third quarterback. He's going to be on practice squad. But you want Sam to get some reps because starting next week, it is pretty much Jarrett taking the practice team reps and the scout team reps, and Bo's pretty much getting all of the first team reps. So we are now into regular season mode, which means you have 8 play periods for the offense and defense. The first team offense gets 6 plays. The backups get 2 plays. So you got Sam out there now. He's not going to get many reps during practice. Jarrett's taking these reps. And Bo's taking these reps. So it's now game week, and not game week, but it is now preparation for the Titans. So I don't think anything of it.
So I have to ask the question because you asked it when we talked about Jaleel not playing. You don't think there's any, to keep him safe to trade him?
To who? I don't think any teams, what teams are in need of a quarterback right now where Jarrett's going to go start. And I think if we learned anything from our Super Bowl team, you need a great backup quarterback who understands your system just in case something happens to your starting quarterback.
That's 100%. I completely agree with you. I asked the question to ask the question, not to push the narrative because
You're pushing it.
I'm not pushing it. 100% I agree with you, Benny. Sam Ehlinger, as Sean Payton wrote on his play sheet, for those who missed it, he wrote, Sam, I am. This was about showcasing Sam Ehlinger. I think Sean wants to get him a job somewhere else. He wants to get him on a 53-man roster. And so this was about putting him in position to succeed. I think he did really good. I liked what I saw from Sam. I don't think he's going to make a 53-man roster. I do think the Broncos are going to cut him, only hold on to 2 quarterbacks, and then bring him on to the practice squad. That's exactly the role he should have. And this was, you're 100% right. Jarrett Stidham showed me so much this preseason to where, yes, he did go up in my book as okay, he's a really good backup. If the Broncos need him for 3 games, Jarrett Stidham can weather the storm and go 2-1 in those 3 games, depending on where they are. If you need him for 2 games, he can go 1-1, and that's what you look for in a backup quarterback. Brock Osweiler, like you mentioned,
Brock and roll, Brock steady.
Yes, he did better than steadying the ship. We're 5-2 with you guys, and that was enough to put you guys in a position to be the number 1 seed. To be the number 1 seed in the AFC, have home field advantage so that you didn't have to go into Pittsburgh. You didn't have to go into New England. You got those teams.
It wouldn't have mattered, Zach.
Good. That's what I need to hear. Yeah. Some other people in the building at that time weren't as confident in that. But and so I think Jarrett Stidham can do that. And this was just about building up Sam Ehlinger. So that was cool to see. And he did well as well. Benny, next time we see the Broncos on a football field that's not a practice field, it's the regular season. It's the real deal.
Real deal, man.
So I got to ask you, before we get out of here, and really quick, hit us with a thumbs up if you're tuning in. We really appreciate it. Helps us a lot. Shout out to everyone who's been tuning in with us all day for the pregame, watch-along, post-game show. We hit you with a thumbs up, so hit us with a thumbs up. I want to ask you what it's like, because you've been on both sides of this, right? You've been cut. You've also made a 53-man roster. What is it like for... There's 90 guys on the roster right now. Is it maybe 60 of them, 65 of them don't know their future? over these next 72 hours? What's it like leading up to cut day? Because at Tuesday at 2 p.m., the Broncos have to cut 37 guys.
Yeah, I would say, for all the people out there listening right now, these next couple days are extremely tough. You got to they always tell you, what they're getting ready to tell the guys in the locker room. They're excited about the win, but Coach Sean Payton is going to also say, hey, guys, this is going to be tough over the next couple days. Keep your ringer on. Keep your phone on loud. We're going to be calling some people. And it's tough. The first time I ever got cut, you get that call from the Grim Reaper, and they're saying, hey, we're going to cut you today, and you bring in your playbook, and it's a tough moment. My rookie year when I first got cut, it was tough because you don't know if you're actually going to play again. And then Coach Fox and I think Adam Gase let me know that I was going to be on the practice squad. But even that's nerve-wracking every single day because you can be replaced and you can be cut off of that practice squad. So you have to come to play. The second year I made the team, and Coach Tyke Tolbert, who's now the receiver coach in Tennessee, called me and told me, hey, man, we're going to cut you, even though I led the team in preseason and receiving. But he was just messing with me. So
I cannot, but that is so mean.
I was so pissed. But made the team.
Did he tell you right away?
Yeah, he told
Okay.
he told me right away. But it was cool when you come into the next day. So these guys will get cut, and then the 53-man roster will be there by themselves pretty much the next day. Everybody is congratulating everybody because you can get cut at any point in time. When you think about preseason, think about when Justin Simmons got drafted. We had to cut T.J. Ward.
Yeah.
And even great players get cut. So it's a tough moment for everybody. You're on you're on pins and needles. I went to Chicago for 1 year after my 4 years here, and I got cut from there. I ended up playing in New York. But even that was tough. Decent preseason, but it was tough to go through that moment. You move to a different city. You have to put all your stuff in a black trash bag. I mean, you get cut one day and you're back at home the same day. So
yeah.
It's a tough moment. These guys love football, been playing football their whole life, and this is going to be some of these guys' first time where somebody tells them that they're not good enough to play on a team. So it's easy to say, hey, they had opportunities, but there's a lot of politics that goes on in the NFL. But these guys put their heart out there. They played well. They won a lot of games. Hopefully they take some of the lessons that they learned throughout the entire preseason and just being in the NFL locker room in terms of structure and how to go about your business, that hopefully carries over for the rest of their life.
What is the Grim Reaper? Who is the Grim Reaper? Is it one person?
No, it's these. They make it. The young scouts do it.
Oh, gosh, of course.
Yeah, somebody calls you who's more of an upper personnel person, but the people who come to get you at the front are young kids, interns. They take you to the airport. It's so awkward in those cars when they're dropping you off at the airport.
Man.
They're dropping off like 6 guys to go back home, and it's it. So it's crazy.
Oh man. Well, it's I do like that the practice squads are much bigger now. Like you said, when you were playing, they were 8, 10?
9 practice squad guys. 7
9 practice squad.
Yeah,
now it's over double that. It's up to 16 if you have a roster exemption for an international player. You can make it 17. So it's going to be crazy. We're going to be following along. We're going to be back on Monday on this show, probably right around noon, 11. So stay tuned for that. Broncos cut day is Tuesday. We do this show for the people that are joining us. We do this show every single day, 5 days a week, every single week of the year, and we appreciate you rocking and rolling with us. The Titans game is 14 days, 23 hours, 47 minutes, and 44 seconds away from right now. Can't freaking wait. I love the countdown you hear. Let's keep that going. And before we get out of here, we got a comment from our friend Broncos Slick, who says, stash Courtney Jackson. For me, Benny, he's done plenty enough to make this practice squad.
Yeah, he did. He made some exciting plays. He did some things in the return game. Only thing that you don't like is putting the ball on the ground in the first preseason game. That is a no-no, especially as a returner. But yeah, he made some exciting plays. I think somebody you can develop, especially with Sean and his coaching staff. So we'll see.
We will see. And shout out to Ashley Weaver becoming a member
Ashley.
of the support club. We absolutely love it. Let's go, Ashley. Let's bow. We're there. We're there, Benny. The next game is a regular season game. And you said it earlier that you're pumped to be with us through this season. I can 100% speak for everyone here. We are so pumped to have you and your incredible insight. Your film breakdowns are just next level. We're
appreciate
so pumped to have that. And, man, we're so pumped to have you rocking and rolling with us. And we got one more super chat coming from our friend Wyoming Cowboy, who is rocking and rolling with us. Says the DNVR Broncos guys are real pros. They're fans, and they aren't afraid to tell the truth. I love that, Wyoming Cowboy. And a really cool thing about having Benny is having the player's perspective. Literally, the segment that we have with you, the player's perspective, but also having your perspective, keeping us in check a little bit. When I say the Saints, are a bunch of backups, you're like, whoa, stop that right there.
Those are real NFL players, man.
But then to also get your perspective, because not only have you played in the NFL, you played for the Broncos, you played for a Super Bowl winning team, a Super Bowl winning Broncos team, and you played for Sean Payton. Your perspective is going to be so cool this season. Shout out to everyone that tuned in with us today. The chat, from my understanding, was going crazy, so thank you. Leave us your comments below. We'll be back Monday on the DNVR Broncos podcast. I'm freaking ready to go. We'll be breaking down all the moves leading to cut day. So shout out to Benny. Shout out to everyone tuning in. Shout out to RK. Shout out to Jake. Shout out to you here. We'll be back on Monday. We'll see you.
We all silly like the mayor.